problem is that firms don't know how productive their R&D is. RQ is short for Research Quotient. It's something I stumbled upon as a byproduct of an academic study that I did. And what it is technically is it's the percentage increase in revenues you would get from a percentage increase in R&D. So in and of itself that sounds interesting, but what's really cool when you map that measure onto endogenous growth theory is that the theory says that a measure that's actually capturing R&D productivity should do four things actually. Profits, it should predict R&D spending, it should predict market value, and it should predict firm growth. And RQ is the only measure that actually does that. So I'm pretty excited about it. In fact, patents are negatively correlated with all of those. It turns out that firms have suffered a substantial decline, 65% decline in R&D productivity. And the key takeaway from my paper is that the factor that seems to account for the decline is the growth in R&D outsourcing. One of the things that we know about R&D is that a lot of it ends in failure. But the benefit of those projects is that you're learning something, right? And an example from Hughes when I was working there is that we had developed a technology called ion beam propulsion. It was to change attitude correction of satellites in zero atmosphere. But it turned out that the technology wasn't useful for non-military applications, and so it was abandoned. It just didn't have a long enough life, I guess. But we used it elsewhere in the company to do implanting layers on semiconductors. Okay, so if we had outsourced that, we'd never really have had the opportunity to use it for a different application. So if I were talking to a CEO, the first thing I would say is, you want to know what your RQ is. I can tell you, what it is, and I can tell you what's been happening to it over time. If you, in fact, are a firm that has been doing outsourcing, then one of the quick fixes for you to increase your RQ is probably to bring the outsourcing work back in-house, or much of it.